So as of today, we are still in quite an alpha stage. We have a functioning tool. We can build Web 2 pages, sites with ease, and we can build some Web 3 components as of today, right now. We don't really have the ability to take out a widget and put it into another site. And that goes to really the core idea of why we're building this is that would potentially require development, code, hosting, service, security, SSLs. There's a whole lot of domain knowledge that has to be sort of understood just to manage these sorts of things. And going back to what I was saying is like it's democratizing the technology where anyone can say, I have an idea. I want to get that idea out into the world. I want to test the idea. I want to see if this is even, I want to launch a meme coin, for instance, but you don't even know if it's going to have, get any legs or traction or any interest at all. As of today, that could cost you 10, 15, $20,000 just to hire the developers, get all the contracts written and built, get it launched, everything. Which is, that's fine, but I think that's yesterday's way of doing things. With the power that AI can give everyone, it allows us to just create anything we can think of.
What's up, Ada Nation? Welcome to Dapp Central, your home for everything blockchain and crypto. My name's Fareed. As a part of today's video, I'm sitting down with Ben Powell, the head of marketing for the PlayFix platform, a project building here on Cardano, leveraging AI to simplify building for non-technical people like myself. Without any further ado, let me bring up today's guest to dive into PlayFix. Ben, welcome up. How are you?
Fareed, thank you very much for having me. I'm having a fantastic day.
Thank you so much for joining me. I appreciate your time here. This will be a little bit of an off-the-cuff interview. I appreciate you jumping on the twist of a dime here, right, to talk about PlayFix. But this is a project that's come on my radar. I'm excited to chat about it. And without any further ado, let's maybe sort of kick things off here with a little bit of the introduction about what you do and what PlayFix is.
Well, as you so nicely introduced me, Ben, head of marketing here at PlayFix. So I come from predominantly marketing background and product. I've personally launched 12 products into the market, and I've been working with PlayFix for the last 6 to 8 months since Tobias, the CEO and co-founder of PlayFix, brought me in predominantly on an AI tip and then into marketing. And I have been absolutely living and breathing this product since then. So really excited by what we're building.
Thank you. Nice and short. I like that. PlayFix, for anybody who hasn't heard of you guys, what are you guys building and why?
Well, the full story of PlayFix is a couple of years ago, it started out as a API service for the Web3 gaming. So if you needed to mint, custom weapons and games and that sort of thing within the game, you would use the PlayFix APIs. Just as they were about to launch, the arse fell out of the market. So they were kind of sort of lost a little bit in trying to find a new pivot, a new place to go to. And then once the this revolution of AI kind of kicked off, we started to, Tobias and the team started to really pivot towards how can we implement AI and this ability to, have this incredible back-end infrastructure that had already been built. How can we bundle that together to make something amazing? So the last 6 or so months, we've been really focusing on building an AI web builder specifically for the Web3 ecosystem and Cardano ecosystem specifically. The reason that Cardano was chosen, and not only is it, a damn good chain, what we feel is there's not a lot of tooling to help people kind of access and build out the ideas that this community seems to have. And Cardano really does seem to have a community of builders. Like I spend all day on X or Twitter, whatever you want to call it, and all I'm reading is like people excited by what's being built and the platforms that are being built on. So that's kind of really what the push in this new, I'll say, era of PlayFix is really democratizing the access to this technology by using AI, where you can, with a chat, build, you can launch your own token, build your own swap site, build a DEX, or you could launch a range of NFTs, have an NFT gallery, sell it, stake it, all within the platform that Playfix is really building and putting together.
Thank you. And I'll go ahead and share the official link to Playfix's website, their Gitbook, etc., down below for the community. Just taking a look here at the Gitbook itself, I mean, there's basic concepts and terminology here, and I'd love to maybe see if you could highlight a couple of these keywords for us, right? So I think AI is obviously a well-known one now, right? Ever since the release of ChatGPT.
Oh
LLMs,
yeah.
I would say, are also pretty common or familiar. Tokens as well, but then jumping down, we've got the content delivery network. We've got site bots, flex bots, RAGs, or retrieval augmented generation, custom functions, indexing. Can you maybe sort of just break down how all of these different technologies and
Yeah.
concepts work together to give us Playfix?
You actually hit on really early tools that we were building out, which is the chatbots and the flexibots. So these are essentially tools that you would use within the dApps that you build in our system. And the flexibots are very much like a chat with your content type tool where you can do research. We started building a lot of these and putting them live publicly so you could get all of the information about, say, a token launch, the white paper, the websites, all of this information, all of the trading information, put it into this system and ask it questions. So, what are the tokenomics of this? What does that actually mean? What does the technology mean? That sort of thing. So that's really where we started building using the language models and AI. And those are aside from the main core function of the Playfix, which is where we're building the AI web builder. So if you were to, like, some of the terminology are RAG, so retrieval augmented generation. This is, like I said, it's you've got a whole heap of data, 100 of PDFs. You put that into a database. In the back end, we're analyzing that, turning that into a vector database, and then it's retrieving that content. So it's augmenting the retrieval of that content when you're asking it a question, so it can generate an answer based on specific information. And we took a kind of component of that, and that's how we're sort of focusing the building of the AI web builder. So we've built components, so many different components for both Web 2 and Web 3 components. Contact forms, heroes, abouts, NFT galleries, swap widgets. All of these components live in the back end. And when you say, I now want I want a hero, and on the left, I want an image, and on the right, I want a swap widget. It's retrieving all of these components that we've built and then generating them using the language models to show them on your site and on your page. Then you can interact and change things and edit things. So there's no code. You don't have to learn or understand code. All you have to do is really have an idea for what you want to build and the ability to just tell the chat what it is you want. And it's really that simple.
Yeah, I mean, that's impressive, especially in Web3. And then you mentioned Cardano specifically, where Plutus, Haskell, or Haskell, however you want to pronounce it, have been notoriously known, right, for being very, very hard to build on. So I think anything that we can do to sort of lower or reduce the barrier to entry here is a net positive for potential opportunities in the ecosystem. Now, I'd love to ask, because you've mentioned, different portions or different widgets that are all interconnected. How seamless is all of this? What components are currently available, and are any of them sort of standalone, or do they all rely on, other components that are all tied back somehow into Playfix? I'd love to hear about how interoperable or interconnected each of these components are, and then what types of components are there actually?
Yeah. So as of today, we are still in quite an alpha stage. We have a functioning tool. We can build Web 2 pages, sites with ease, and we can build some Web 3 components as of today, right now. As far as the interoperability, it's really built to sort of exist within the Playfix sites that you build. We don't really have the ability to take out a widget and put it into another site. And that goes to really the core idea of why we're building this, is that would potentially require development, code, hosting, service, security, SSLs. There's a whole lot of domain knowledge that has to be sort of understood just to manage these sorts of things. And going back to what I was saying, is like it's democratizing the technology where anyone can say, I have an idea. I want to get that idea out into the world. I want to test the idea. I want to see if this is even, I want to launch a meme coin, for instance, but you don't even know if it's going to have, get any legs or traction or any interest at all. As of today, that could cost you $10, $15,000, $20,000 just to hire the developers, get all the contracts written and built, get it launched, everything. Which is, that's fine, but I think that's yesterday's way of doing things. With the power that AI can give everyone, it allows us to just create anything we can think of. And that's really our goal. Beta is still a little way off. We are a very tiny team. Everyone is kicking in. Even, as I was saying when we were chatting before the video, like I'm predominantly marketing and product, and even I'm putting in code on this. Like it is all hands on deck trying to get this built. But it's still a little way before we could sort of launch it to the public and, have everyone free access to it. But it isn't that far away.
Thank you, and nicely put. We were talking about this, as you mentioned, before we went live, and I totally understand. A lot of crypto teams have to run very lean, right, until there's adoption or demand for whatever product it is that they've put together, and you guys are aiming to do that, right? So we'll discuss the platform token here in just a minute, but it's good to hear, right, that this again is removing a lot of the friction for anybody who wants to build, myself included. I've had multiple crypto type ideas where I'm like, okay, I would love to implement something or some sort of platform, but as a creator, the majority of my focus and time goes into making videos, not necessarily sitting down and trying to figure out hosting, websites, code, logic, etc. So I definitely have an appreciation for an idea such as this. Now, you mentioned that you guys are still actively working on the beta. Could you break down where you guys currently stand on the roadmap, what's already been done, where you guys are now, and what comes next?
Okay. So we, for clarity, we recently did a private sale on Coinector, and part of the private sale to get to our public sale was that we had some deliverables. These deliverables were that we would have 20 or so Web 2 based components. So these are sort of fully built in the back end, accessible via the API and via the chat. To be built in your page. So there was 20 of those. There was 20 Web3 components, and then there was a number of guides and a functional sort of drag and drop building page. We have already hit those. We already have them. And if you have a look at our X page, you can see a number of videos of like demos, internal demos that we have showing them working. So that's kind of where we're at today. Over the next 2 weeks, we are sort of ramping up to the token launch, but we're also still pushing out more Web3 components predominantly. We have our target was 20. I think we have 50 Web 2 components, heroes, banners, about us, meet the team, all of those sorts of standard stuff you'll find on a page. But we're really focusing on the Web 3 stuff. For example, we've been talking to some of the people in our Discord, and there was a conversation going on about how difficult it is to do airdrops, like self-hosted or self-managed airdrops, kind of campaigns that track actions within an app. So if you want someone to not only go to your YouTube, but watch a certain amount of time, for instance, that it's hard to sort of link that back to the platforms that exist, because they're very much, this is their platform, it only works for them, and you have to work with their developers. So we're kind of taking a little bit of feedback we're having from very, very early conversations and sort of slowly changing and iterating on what Web3 components that we're building. That said, we've got swaps already, we've got staking, we've got minting, so you can mint NFTs, you can mint tokens, all in Cardano. We have ticket trackers, and just quite a few more that I can't think of off the top of my head. So that's kind of where we're at now. and over the next few weeks is really just building out a lot of that. Once we get past the TGE, with that, we're increasing the size of the team and we can speed up development. And I want to really start working on the experience of building the pages and editing the pages and really getting that to be so incredibly simple. I call it mummizing. I want to make it so easy that my mum can use it. So that's the focus we're going to do while we're sort of building out all of the functionality in the background. Few months, I think, a few months later, we will be absolutely live, using, customers can come in, they can use it. You can deploy sites, single page sites, and all of these tools that we're building within a few months. Then sort of a little bit further down the track, multi-page, stuff like that. And that's when we start to look into the marketplace. So if I can just touch on the marketplace really quickly, the marketplace is, so any product that you build is always going to be sort of defined by how much you can actually do, right? So if you look at something like WordPress, Canva, they build these tools that are really powerful and functional, but they can't build every single possible variation of function and widget and it's just not, it's not possible and it's not smart. So they open up a marketplace where other developers can build their own tools that interact with that core function. So it could be multi-chain swaps. It could be video galleries, video streaming. It could be, we will be building a lot of decentralized sort of infrastructure, working with partners. We're looking, I can't really name some at the moment, but we're working with partners to do like decentralizing the language models that we use, the AI, the inference, image hosting, storage, basically just spreading as Web3 and decentralized as we can. So that's us, but you may want to use a specific service. So they can build a tool, put it into the marketplace where you can go, well, I'm building, and I just want to use that, and then access their tools. And that's kind of the big goal for us, I think, Q2 is to launch this marketplace with as many partners as possible that add so much value to what you build, all without any code. I want to use this. If you could just say, integrate all of my images to use, Iagon CDN, and it just does it. That's the goal we're going to with the marketplace. And that's our big sort of next year, big, what do they call it? The big ugly goal, the big hairy goal.
The big milestone, the big milestone.
The big audacious milestone.
No, I mean, as you rightly stated, that's pretty audacious. But if you guys are able to do it, there is a ton of market share for the taking, which I think, of course, puts you guys at the very sort of front for whoever's doing this, but then just, I think, even just across multiple blockchains. So I've got a couple more questions here I'd love to jump into, and then let's talk about token and utility. You mentioned the marketplace, and I really like that because I've been in situations where I use applications and whatever I need isn't there, but I typically have to jump into some sort of plugin list or whatever the case is. And some of those are custom. So to be able to, dive in there, use other contributors' code while hopefully also giving something to them back, I think is a win, right? I get a custom solution that I need. They obviously get some adoption from a downloader, from an integration, but hopefully there's some sort of other kickback or bonus that they're able to get by developing in the marketplace. Now, that aside, that wasn't the question. You guys have to earn money. Your business has to earn revenue. So where does revenue from or for Playfix come from? And how is that sort of managed to be sustainable for the long term?
So one of the reasons we're not fully Web3, that we have our sort of toes in the Web2, is landing pages for Web2 are still a massive opportunity. And that is, when you look at, for instance, marketing, if you want to do a lead generation page or a push page, or you want to run an ad to, sell a widget or whatever, building just singular landing pages, either you need to code and design, or you can use these tools like Instapage and stuff like that, but they're going to cost you, you know, a couple of $100 a month, which, you know, for most people is just a lot of money if you don't need to do hundreds and hundreds, if you're not an enterprise service, right? So we're actually seeing a lot of opportunity for the Web3 marketing sort of customer base, and through subscriptions, we're going to be marketing to them, and that's one of our income or our asset streams. Sorry, our income streams is going to be going for the Web2 market, but it also supports all of the Web3 people. So you yourself, you were saying you're a content creator. 99% of your time is talking to fantastic people, but also editing and writing and doing outreach. You don't have time to code, but there's no reason you can't launch a token or an NFT. So by doing that, we can generate small revenues, kind of micropayments, transaction costs, and transaction payments through you launching a token, and we can take a transaction cost. So small gas fees. We're working with partners for swaps, but we will build our own DEX essentially to do swaps, and that's another revenue opportunity for us. So we know the direction we're headed, and the opportunities that lie in those directions. For us, it's just at the moment focusing purely on building a fantastic product that gets us to revenue ready, rather than going straight for how can we get the most amount of money in the shortest amount of time. Well, I do understand that is essential. You know, we have a very low burn, and we've got a really good community. So we do, you know, we're seeing a lot of support for just what we're sort of where we're at now. So we're not too worried about the future revenue income. But those are two opportunities we're looking at. And then you, of course, marketplace. So lots of little places to get pennies from.
Very, very, very positive here, because again, I think we have to keep that in mind as the long-term health of Playfix, right? Without Playfix, without the marketplace, anybody can build, but nothing's going to be worth of any value if you guys aren't there to sort of keep things running smoothly. Okay, one last question, and then let's discuss PFX and the TGE, which I believe should be mid-August. Earlier, I was discussing or asking about the hosting and whether, you know, things could be basically standalone. My understanding is that everything is sort of tied back to Playfix. So let's say that I jump in and I want to build my own custom landing page, but I have my own sort of domain or something like that. Are you guys able to, you know, work with me to still have my domain point to whatever it is that I've actually built through Playfix? Or is everything that, you know, I'm building through Playfix sort of attributed to them through, you know, the domain and the hosting type of thing like that? So again, without getting too technical, you know, I'd love to understand how much of this can I actually sort of keep to myself or detach from Playfix's name?
Yeah. So in your case, if you wanted to build landing page, we will have custom domains. So this would be, you just go to your domain name provider and you create a subdomain, and then you'd be building pages on that subdomain. So it wouldn't necessarily be a playfix.com URL or, you know, dappcentral.playfix. It would be I'm awesome.dappcentral. So whatever campaign you're running. That's our early kind of, that's the current plan that we're working on, how we're going to get there to deliver the custom domains. What we definitely will be doing is working with the community to find out exactly how much embeddedness or how much you actually want within your own ecosystems. And that can really help us define how we change the technology to allow it. So if it is, I want to embed the entire page into my website, there are ways we can do that. Or if it's like, I just want a custom domain, either a subdomain, or you might have dappcentral.com, and then for your token stuff, you may have, dappcentral.io, and it's all your domain names, but just the backend infrastructure is Playfix. Basically, look, we kind of want to be a wheelbarrow. We kind of want to be boring technology, stuff that sits at the back. It does the job. It's reliable. It's, it carries everything. And all of the stuff that you want is the glitz and glamour, that's all yours. That's everything sort of sits on top, completely yours. We just want to be that low end infrastructure that just powers everything.
Yeah, that makes sense. And I mean, based off of what I've heard and seen so far from the website, what you guys are building is everything but boring. Again, you guys are leveraging AI and you're leveraging blockchain and a little bit of Web 2, right? So, very,
Yeah.
very powerful technology. And like I said earlier, I think the faster you guys are able to get this out into regular
Mm,
people's hands that have had ideas, right?
mm.
Um, the quicker you guys will be able to really dominate this niche. And I'm not necessarily too sure, how saturated what you guys are doing are. I don't think that there's many other projects that I'm aware of within Cardano that are doing this, much less
I don't
outside
think
of
so.
Cardano.
Yeah, I don't think so. I mean, there are a few AI page builders out there. They're going at it a slightly different way than we are, and they are uh, very much avoiding Web3. There's, I can name a couple Web2, but I cannot name one Web3, especially Cardano. There's nothing in this ecosystem that's doing what we're doing. And today it's Cardano. Like I said, we do plan on going multi-chain. I mean, there's no reason for us not to support more than just the Cardano, but we feel a bit of kinship early on with this community. So we want to just focus in here at the moment and just provide the most we can. We just want to see a lot more building. Not that Cardano needs a lot more building. It's like one of the most developed chains currently. I was reading something recently was saying, one of the most currently, more than Ethereum. There's more development on the Cardano chain than there's in Ethereum at the moment, which I think is absolutely fantastic and really talks to the technology.
Yeah, I think people don't take that lightly here. We're a
Yeah.
community. Sometimes we don't get the best rep, but one thing I can tell you is that everybody here contributes and really does their best to provide a solid, functional, working product.
Mm.
All right. That said, this is an introduction here. I do want to give you big kudos here, Ben. This has been a little bit of an off-the-cuff interview. So for the viewers here, I did not give Ben fair enough time to prep. And so this has been sort of like like I said, on the fly, but you've done a really good job. Again, you're head
Oh,
of
thank you.
marketing, but you seem to have very, very in-depth knowledge of the technical side of
Mm.
Playfix as well. So I do want to give you your props there. All
Cheers.
right, we've touched on what Playfix is. One thing that we haven't really touched on, and maybe we can do this after the PFX token, is the team.
Mhm.
But before we jump
Mm.
into that, let's talk about the PFX token. I mentioned earlier, this I believe should be coming out mid-August. What can you tell us about this? What is the utility of the token? Highlighting maybe what it's used for and how it plays a role in the more general Playfix
Mm.
ecosystem.
There's really three parts to the utility of the token. The first part is we have a staking element to it. So those who will stake, it's $10 worth of PFX. That unlocks the pro features of the platform. So there's a subscription, a flat subscription, or if you're staking some PFX, you've got the low end subscription, and you get access to all of the premium features. That's one element to it. We also have an NFT thing coming out as well that'll do a similar idea. The second major component of the utility is that, the unlocking features unlocks all of the components, the custom domains, as we were speaking about before, and the chatbots and flexibots. So essentially, you get access to all of the pro features. The second utility is access to the rewards pool. So we are taking, and it's a weighted rewards pool. We're taking 34% of the total subscription revenue, and we are reinvesting that back into the rewards pool and giving that out to stakers of the PFX token. And that's kind of like the big core utility. I think that's one of our. I don't see a lot of people really pushing that much back into the ecosystem. And we're doing that because really we want to reward people who are not only, early on with us, but also we want people to be excited by what we're building and use what we're building and tell other people about what we're building. Because the bigger the actual subscriptions grow, the more we put back into the rewards pool, the more the stakers get. Simple math, I know, but that's kind of why we're like, we want to put as much reward back into it as possible. Now, the third utility of the token is when we move down to the marketplace, and the marketplace is going to be essentially running on the PFX token. So we will do exchange in the back end for whatever to PFX, and that's how it's distributed within the marketplace, and then converts back out however you want. This is still in flux, the exact workings of how the marketplace will utilize the PFX. We know it will, but like I said, it's a little bit down the road in the roadmap, and we're focusing right now just more on the actual tools itself. So
nicely put. Thank you. As we get ready to wind things down here, I've got the token distribution showing on screen. I believe you said you've already partnered up with Coinecta. I believe the sales already happened, right? So we're just waiting on the actual token generation event and the distribution. Is that correct?
So we've got we did the pre-sale, and public sale is going on Coinecta as well. And I think it's 24 hours and then the TGE. I believe that we may be flexible with the dates. Can't be absolutely sure. That's still, conversations are happening, very rushed conversations, but we'll have an announcement on that very, very soon. And then we go to public sale, absolutely, on the Cardano, Coinecta.
Got it. Yeah, collaborated with Marty. Had a couple of other teams here that have been extremely successful following sales on their platform. Most recently, Nuvola. They've been doing a really good job from a deep in aggregation standpoint. So definitely wish you all the best of luck. And you guys have been building pretty heavily here, Ben. And really just want to get this content out there. Number one, for awareness, but then number two, for anybody who wants to get behind the idea to be able to do so. That said, this is an introductory call. We've been going for about 30 minutes now. I think we've sort of kind of touched on the broader picture here for Playfix. Anything that you want to send us home with? Closing thoughts, maybe some parting words about what you guys are building or what the community should expect?
Yeah. Well, I'd like everyone to, if you want to follow us on Twitter, I still call it Twitter. It's Twitter. If you want to follow us on Twitter or jump in our Discord, I'd really like that. I personally would love to hear more from the community. Like I said, I come from a product background, so talking with potential customers and people interested in the technology really help guide the development, and it makes sure that we're not building. It's very easy to build things because we as the team think this is the thing that we should be building. We think this is the right thing, but it's not always what the vast majority of people want. So what I would love is if people were jumping into our Discord to actually just chat and say, have a look at what we're building and go, will it do this? I would love it to do this. Can it, what are your thoughts on this? And I would really like to be engaging those conversations. If you don't want to do Discord, more than happy to have them on Twitter. I'm there most hours of most days. So yeah, just jump on and add us and DM, and I would love to hear and chat with the greater community.
Thank you, Ben. Again, everybody, check out the links down below for more information surrounding Playfix. That's to their Gitbook, their official website. And if you guys want to contribute to their upcoming public sale, the links to Coinecta will be left down below there as well. Again, Ben, I want to thank you here. You've done a good job. I think you've passed the test, right? I look forward to definitely getting you back on here as more of these modules, the marketplace, and the different chatbot features come to life and come to fruition. So don't hesitate to reach out. We'll definitely make sure to plan well ahead of the next future interview. Like I said, I'm getting ready to head out to Rare Evo here, and it's been quite a hectic week for me as well, right? So
I can imagine.
Yeah.
If anyone is at if anyone is at Rare Evo, try and catch up with Tobias, the CEO and co-founder. He will be there, ready to chat with anyone. So keep an eye out for it.
Give him a heads up. I'll be there, and I'll definitely be itching to chat. All right.
Fantastic.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, Ben, here. For you watching at home, if you found any portion of today's video to be helpful, I would appreciate you if you could smash that thumbs up. It's one of the best ways to support me here as a growing Cardano creator. If you guys enjoy everything that we discuss here on the channel, consider subscribing to Dapp Central for more. Last but not least, if you have any questions for myself, Ben, Tobias, or anybody at the Playfix team, make sure to leave those down below. We'll get those answered. We'll be monitoring the comments here. And yeah, that said, and as always, we'll see you all in the next one. Cheers, everybody. Bye-bye.